Two African leaders that have a completely different reputation if you're reading Western media versus local media. Number one, Gaddafi. The notorious Libyan leader was and is demonized in Western media for being authoritarian, suppressive, and resistant to Western interventions. They criticized his approach to opposition and considered it infringements on human rights. However, in a lot of local conversations and local media across the continent, you'll find a lot of dialogue about just how much Gaddafi was invested in a pan-African vision of the continent. He pushed for the creation of the African Union, a single gold-backed currency to unite the continent and promote intra-African trade. Depending on who is cited, he used a lot of Libya's oil wealth to support infrastructure and education, and was generally very anti-Eurocentrism. The message here is not that he was altogether bad or altogether good, but that it's important that we're also reading local African and Libyan media and literature as we understand his story. 2. Mugabe. Whilst he's generally condemned for being a long-serving president and suppressing opposition, Mugabe's real issues with Western media started when he was completing the land reform process in the 1990s. Viewed as violent and aggressive, Mugabe's efforts to transition hundreds of thousands of hectares of land from white settler ownership into the ownership of the new liberated government was widely condemned. But it's important to realize that this land reform process and removing land from the ownership of white settlers and the British government significantly disadvantaged the British government. There's a lot that can be said about the Mugabe that existed in those early liberation days and the Mugabe that existed later. The whole story of Mugabe is an extremely complex one, but on this particular topic, there's a lot of bias to wade through, especially when we consider the examples of other settler colonial countries that did not go through this process, such as Namibia, where now the 2% of their population that is white also owns 90% of their arable land.